right. So now we're going to say some words of tribute to you. Well, I think you should stand here. I think because I'm also going to be telling you some things, reading some things that other people wrote, so I want you to hear. Okay, so to start, this week we start a new book of the Torah, Bimidbar in Hebrew. In English, it's known as Numbers. The book of Numbers is named for the census that the Israelites take while wandering in the wilderness. So it's about counting. Our tradition has a complicated view of counting. On the one hand, we are encouraged to number our days so that we can live more fully and with more awareness. In fact, many of you know that we are in a period of counting days when we count the 7 weeks of the Omer. On the other hand, Judaism discourages counting people. When we assign numbers to people, it dehumanizes them. Some of you might share this memory with me. You're on an elementary school field trip, and the whole class of kids is boarding the bus to go back to school. Your teacher pats your head as you get on the bus. 1, 2, 3. I could clearly feel the weight of my teacher's hand as she taps my head, pushing my head and neck down in the process. This was not a great feeling, but I do understand the need to make sure every student gets back home. God forbid anyone should get lost from the trip. The Torah, though, tells of a different kind of counting. Next week's Torah portion, Naso, says, Naso et Rosh. Lift up the heads of the Israelites. So what if your teacher, instead of pushing down on your head, actually lifted your head up from under your chin and saw you, gave you a little smile, actually acknowledged you? This is more of a you count kind of gesture, just like this. And I love to imagine that Moses was doing just that with the children of Israel, lifting up their heads by the chin and really seeing them. This brings me to you, Cantor K. Greenwald. K, you have been serving the Jewish people, the Reform movement, and your beloved Cantors just like that. You have lifted us. You have lifted us up. You have seen the best in each of us, and you have encouraged us to see ourselves as you do. Throughout your time as the ACC placement director, you have modeled the highest Jewish values, you have led with grace and compassion, and you have challenged all of our colleagues to live and work by the high standards that you exemplify in all that you do. And how lucky have I been to have you as a mentor here at Beth Am. You've been there for me at every turn and have taught me by example. I have a few additional tributes to you by some of our colleagues who love you probably as much as I do. So first, I'd like to read some words from Claire Franco, the recent past president of the ACC. So this is what Claire says. I had the privilege of working closely with Cantor K. Greenwald, for nearly 10 years, first as the vice president overseeing placement, and later as the president of the American Conference of Cantors. Much of what I witnessed, you already know. Cantor Greenwald is the consummate professional. She is meticulous, incredibly detail-oriented, intelligent, and has an incredible work ethic. She takes her assigned tasks seriously, always striving to do the very best job in any situation. She was able to strike a seemingly impossible balance between the needs of the Cantors in placement and the needs of the congregations. Over my 10 years of work alongside Cantor Greenwald, I am most grateful for the gift of our friendship. It was in this relationship that I learned that she is a kind and caring friend, deeply loyal and always ready to lend an ear or helping hand. She is wicked smart, a rare combination of academic chops and sechel, common sense. She is well-read, yes, articulate, yes, and funny. Sometimes, something I didn't realize at the beginning because she holds her sense of humor close to her chest. And recently, when I invited her to participate in my own 20th anniversary concert, I found out what an incredible musician and singer she is as well. Much of who she is as Cantor emerged during her service to your congregation, and so I thank you. Thank you for giving her the space to become the person that is my admired and respected colleague and my dear friend. That was nice, so I'll give this to you. You can take that with you. And this comes from Seth Warner, the current president of the ACC. He had some words to share with you and with our congregation. He says, on behalf of the American Conference of Cantors, its board of officers, I offer our heartfelt congratulations to Cantor K. Greenwald. Kay's work for our conference and on behalf of cantors everywhere has lifted our profession to new heights. Kay has served as a board member, president, director of placement, as well as serving Beth Am with love and devotion. Kay is a champion of excellence. Looking at her career as a cantor, life partner to Lee, mother, family member, and friend, it is clear that Kay expects a lot from herself. She shares her love of excellence with those she loves the most, especially her love of music, which she and Lee share on a regular basis. To celebrate Kay also means a celebration of the many relationships that she has nurtured over the years. Kay's ability to bring out the good and true in others is a gift that she shares freely, from navigating relationships with students and their parents through the B'nai Mitzvah process and heart-wrenching pastoral care needs of members of the congregation, and to cantorial colleagues in need, to her close friends and confidants. Kay always brings her best. She is passionate and compassionate listener. She's engaged fully in the moment with everyone she meets as if nothing else matters. She is devoted and caring and most of all loving. She regularly lifts us up kindly, with kindness and acuity. Cantor K. Greenwald, we celebrate you, we revere you, and we love you. May you and those you love continue to go from strength to strength with every good wish and blessing. Cantor Seth Warner. And I have one other short message, and this is from our friend Russell over there. Dear Kay, says Russell, we've known each other a long time. You were an amazing opera singer in Vienna, and I was your accompanist. Years later, you found yourself in Palo Alto, and you brought me into Beth Am. You are not only an amazing cantor, opera singer, but I cherish you above all as a friend. So a couple more little tributes. I'd like to turn the mic over to Cantor Roz Barrick and then to Emily Pelk-Jasinski, who want to share a few short words with you. You're doing great.
Hello.
Hi.
What was your name again? Forgive me for repeating some things, but then there's some things that are more personal. It's okay. It's really wonderful to be here, to share the Bima with you on Shabbat, to welcome it, and to participate in honoring you. Because you are the model of what we strive for in the Cantorate. Talent, dedication, commitment, superb professionalism, and Menschlichkeit. You were there for me at a very significant moment. And it meant so much to hear your voice as my mother was laid to rest. You also placed me in a position as an interim cantor in Dallas, Texas. Yeehaw! One of the best places I've ever been. So kol hakavod for all you have done to inspire and teach and elevate and beautify the experience of the Jewish faith, and to reach out to your colleagues and be their friend and my friend. Chazak, chazak, may you go from strength to strength.
I was so fortunate to have Cantor K here on the clergy when I was young. She brought me my very first on-stage experience, singing in musicals, starting from as young as second grade. When I quickly discovered my passion for singing, she introduced me to my first voice teacher. Kay has been there with me every step along my journey, offering guidance in operatic studies, finding a grad school and connections in New York, and then back to cantorial singing. She taught me Torah and Haftarah trope, which I now use to coach the B'nai Mitzvah students here at Beth Am. I owe so much of my love for music and the experiences I've been lucky enough to have to you. Some of my most treasured memories are singing duets with you here on this bima. Beyond that, Cantor K has been a pivotal figure in my life as a human being. She officiated my bat mitzvah, both my brother's wedding and my wedding, including flying to the Dominican Republic for the ceremony, and has joined her voice with mine in song at Passover Seders over the years. I consider her a mentor, a friend, and a true inspiration. Cantor K, I want you to know that you have touched so many people like me over the years. You've made our lives richer and the world a more beautiful place for it. We will be feeling the extension of your influence for many years, and I hope you are able to enter this next chapter of your life filled with pride.
And then we're gonna.
It's my turn? All right, it's my turn. I'm not going to give a tribute, but I am going to offer you a blessing. And you have some words too? Let's do that first, because then I'm going to make everyone rise, and it's a whole thing.
So first, to say I'm blown away by the love and care that went into this evening would be a great understatement. Thank you, everyone who had a hand in creating this incredible Shabbat. I am beyond grateful. This community, all of this community, has been our family's spiritual center for over 30 years. When we arrived, we were immediately welcomed by many of you in this room, by friends watching from home, and by many who are with us tonight only in spirit and whom we miss dearly. From the moment we walked through those beautiful sanctuary doors, we knew that we were home. I feel so blessed to be surrounded tonight by musical colleagues and friends. Roz, Cantor Barak, was one of the first people I met when I arrived here in the Bay Area. It was midsummer, and she quickly taught me two very important Bay Area things. One, San Francisco can be really cold in the summer, and decaffeinated coffee can be as good as high test if you buy it from the right places. David, Cantor Margulies. We go back to HUC days, at least my HUC days, and my very first visit to Israel. It was on that trip that I learned what an amazing musician and mensch you are, and both of you have amazing senses of humor. Emily, I've known you since you were a very little girl. I will never forget how when your brother Jason was learning his Torah portion for his bar mitzvah, you walked into my office and chanted the entire thing from memory. And in those days, we did 7 aliyot. The B mitzvah did 7 aliyot. Now you share your beautiful soul and voice with the Beth Am community here in your teaching and in your soloist work at Peninsula Temple Shalom. Steve, listening to you and singing with you has always been such an honor. What an incredible voice, and what a lovely person you are. Jamie, where'd you go, Jamie? Cantor Spall. We spoke a few times over the years before you settled here. I hope our discussions were meaningful. Your spirituality and love of Judaism lift this congregation's prayers to heaven. And everyone here knows it and feels it. Russell. How long have we known each other? 40 years. Where did that time go? It was one of the best and loveliest surprises of my life when I realized that the amazing accompanist that I worked with as an opera singer in Vienna lived right down the street from Beth Am. We are growing older, my dear friend, and I look forward to continuing to treasure every minute that we spend together. A couple of weeks ago, I had the sad privilege of conducting a Shiva Minyan for a dear friend and colleague's family. I do not lead many services these days, yet even in that sacred moment, I felt the incredible privilege that it is to serve our Beth Am community. To our current leadership team, Rabbi Weissman, Rabbi Prosnit, there, thank you, Rabbi Wattenmaker, Cantor Schbal, Sarah Lowing-Cohen, and your amazing team, and Patty Ortiz. While I have never worked closely with you, although I did bring one of you to the Torah as a bat mitzvah when she was 13, I know you as people who care deeply about Judaism, about Jewish living and Jewish values, and most importantly, as people who care so much about this wonderful kahal and all of you who call Beth Am your spiritual home. And of course, Bria Silbert, without whom nothing at Beth Am could happen. She loves this place. How fortunate for us. Mandy, you and I have joined our efforts many times over the years for the benefit of this community. I know that you have worked hard to make this evening beautiful and meaningful. Thank you so much for all you have brought and give to us, all of us. I have been blessed to serve the Reformed Jewish world over the last decades. Through my work, both here at Beth Am and throughout North America, I have been lucky enough to form ties with Reformed leadership throughout the world. It's a little remarkable how many of these people grew into the mantle of leadership here at Beth Am. Of course, my rabbinic partners, Rabbi Janet Martyr and Rabbi Rick Block, past presidents of the Central Conference of American Rabbis. Past president of the Association of Reformed Jewish Educators and current professor at the Hebrew Union College, Rabbi Dr. Laura Novak-Weiner. And current ARJE board member, Lisa Langer. But the impact of the lay leadership of our community also extends far beyond Beth Am and into the senior leadership of the Union for Reform Judaism, the World Union for Progressive Judaism, or WUPJ, the Association of Reform Zionists of America, or ARTZA, the Foundation for Jewish Camp. The list goes on and on. Moreover, there are many rabbis, cantors, and Jewish educational leaders who grew up here at Beth Am and who are now impacting their own communities throughout North America. Our members are at the forefront of the Reform Jewish universe. Take a moment to savor that knowledge. Wow. I cannot express how much my family and I appreciate all that Beth Am has given us over the years. From our Shabbaton Mishpacha group that evolved into a study group, that later evolved into a Shabbat dinner group, through various Beth Am committees, learning opportunities, and more. Our lives have revolved around Beth Am. My son is in shul almost every Friday night in San Diego because, as he did here, he plays drums in their worship band. He too is forming connections and friendships with his Jewish community. He has watched Jewish adults learn together, pray together, have fun together, his entire life. Abundant blessings indeed. To my wonderful husband, Lee, whose dearest friends are all members of this community, you have always supported me on this ever-changing journey. From the many hours that I spent here as Beth Am's cantor, to the many hours that I spent on the road in my various ACC roles. You have always been my rock and my strength. I love you so very much. In Ta'anit 7 we read, Rabbi Hanina said, I have learned from my teachers, more from my colleagues, but from my students most of all. Let's take that word students and stretch the meaning just a little bit, because I have learned so much from all of you. I have learned the value of service, both at the professional level and the volunteer. I have learned the power of commitment to a community. I have learned the power of taking opportunities for growth and change. I have learned how much each and every one of you cares about this precious and beautiful place. During the hills and valleys of the life of our Beth Am community, let us never forget that life is lived in the relationships and the bonds that we form. And those I have with you mean more to me than I can say. Thank you again for this wonderful evening. I will carry it in my heart forever as I carry all of you.
Thank you so much, Cantor, for your beautiful words. We're gonna all rise in a moment as we open the Ark and offer Cantor K some words of blessing. But I just would like the first people to rise. So if you had the great honor of having Cantor K officiate at a life cycle moment in you or your family's lives, will you just stand up for us? So baby namings, brisses, b'nai mitzvah, weddings. All right, that's pretty wonderful. I'd also like to invite all of you to rise as we open the Ark. And if you are a colleague of Cantor K's, we have a couple more clergy members in the house here. Or if you worked with Cantor K here at Beth Am in any capacity, Paul, that is you, yes, and Russell, we'd like to invite you to share these words of blessing as well. So we will open the Ark and we'll invite all of our wonderful cantors and singers to join us in front of the Ark. All right, Cantor K, will you stand right here? Mishaberach avotenu v'imotenu. May the one who blessed our ancestors before us bless you, Cantor K, on this milestone of your retirement. May you feel pride and satisfaction in your many years of service to the Jewish people and to this congregation. And may you enter this new stage of life with great strength, good health, and high hopes. May the days and years ahead be filled with friends and family, food, fun, and finding new interests and pursuits. May you feel the love and appreciation of this congregation, and may you go from strength to strength. Amen. We'd like to offer you, we couldn't not do the priestly benediction with all of these cantors around, so you want to put your hands on, you can all gather close, please.
Come Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Yair Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka.
May God's light shine upon you and shine through you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May God's face always smile upon you and Lee and your family. And throughout all of the adventures that are still to come, may you always know a sense of shalom, a sense of peace and wholeness and well-being.
Amen. Continue with Aleinu L'Shabeach, on page 282. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Please be seated.